Hi, Alicia.
Hello.
How you doing?
I'm okay. How are you?
Great. And have you recovered from our little technological snafu?
Yes.
Good.
I'm not traumatized. I figured it out.
Oh, thank goodness. Thank goodness. Okay. So I just wanted to say a few words to anyone who happens to be watching right now, whether it's on Google Hangouts or YouTube Live, or anyone in the future who comes to see, just so they have a sense of what our relationship is and how we've worked together. Because they're just like, we know, but they have no idea what the scenario is. So I want to give that to them.
Sure.
So we've been working together for about 3 months, and is that correct?
Yeah, I think that's about right. 2 months.
I looked at the dates to go back on that, and then and we've had about 10 sessions, 4 of which were live in my office in south side of Chicago, and then 6 of them were via Skype. And this is the first time we're using Google Plus. And does that sound right to you?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay. So, and some of the stuff that we've worked on so far, without getting too personal and revealing things to other people, is it okay to mention the things that I said that I wrote in that message?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, so, or maybe you say it, since I've already been talking for a bit. So you say some stuff that we've worked on together and how it's helped you so far and where we're at right now.
Okay, well, I'll start off with our first session. It was, we had just kind of talked about it in passing about how I have this irrational fear of sharks, and I live in the Midwest, and, I'm not, there's really no reason. So, and you had approached me about that, so I was like, okay, well, I'll try it, and going in, I couldn't even look at a picture of a shark, a toothy shark that's got these bloody teeth, and it was just freaking me out. But by the end of the session, I was fine. So it's just amazing how quickly it can change. And then, a couple weeks later, I'm walking in a toy store, and I turn around, and there's a shark toy in front of my face, and it doesn't freak me out, like it would have when I, prior to this. So we worked on that, the starting point, and then we moved on to, just like things that happened in my childhood, traumas, my anxiety levels, which are considerably lower than they've ever been in my entire life. I'm actually able to, actually go through life without having complete freaking meltdowns. Just last week we were working on my anger and frustration levels, which has gone down. And the great thing about this technique is that you can take it with you and use it whenever you need it. So, if I'm driving in traffic and I'm getting really irritated, I'll just start tapping and, doing the whole thing. And it took me a little while to get to the point where I didn't care what people thought, but I'm like, this is helping me. I can breathe now, so it's pretty cool. Pretty awesome.
Yeah, that is pretty cool. Um, Alicia, is there any more light that you can put on in that room? You look really dim right now.
Yeah, let me put on the
hard. Okay.
How's that?
Probably better. I'll know when I see your face.
Okay. Is that better? I turned on
It's definitely better. That's so good.
Okay.
Do you have even more you can put on? It looks great.
No, that's it. That's all I have.
Awesome. That makes a big difference. Thank you.
Yep.
Okay. So we had talked about the concept of forgiveness towards the end of our last session, and that seemed
Right.
daunting to you. Is
Yeah.
that right? Yeah.
Yes.
So I'd like to maintain some privacy here for you. So
Okay.
when we're doing this, and whatever level you want, but you can use code words, code names, even letters, to signify someone, um, and really just as long as you are tapped into
Right.
the issue and you give it a title that can maintain whatever comfort level you need to have with being private, it's most important that you are connected to whatever it is and you know what it is. And the rest of us can benefit by seeing you go through the process and also learn something about the process with it. Now, people are not going to get everything right because normally we do talk very candidly when we're working together. But, we have some limitations in this regard. And that's, I know that people will benefit anyway. And we'll just try to come to this with open hearts, open minds, and still maintain some sense of right. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Awesome. So tell me what you were thinking. And is that the biggest topic right now? Or did something come up that's even bigger that you'd like to work on before we do that? Like, is there something more pressing than that?
No, I think this is a big one right now because of everything that's going on between, me and this particular person.
What do you want to call that particular person?
Um,
Do you want to use a letter?
I'm okay with using his name. It's okay.
You are? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, then say it.
Mike.
Okay. And do you want to say who that person is to you?
This person is the son of my father, who...
The father of your son.
I mean, the father of my son. Sorry. There's my son. He's my son's father. And we've had a lot of... We're no longer together. It's been almost 9 years. So there's just been a lot of things that have happened between us that I have a really hard time forgiving him for. And I know that that's not helping.
What was that?
And I know that it's not helping me by holding on to that, not being able to forgive him for the things that happened. So
for sure.
That's
can we make a list of the biggest things? Because, I mean, obviously you were together for quite some time, and you've been apart for quite some time, and had a child together also for quite some time. How old is your son?
He's 9.
Yep. So, so I would like to make a list with just titles of what some of those issues are, and take some assessments of how angry you are, like how much you cannot forgive those particular titles, right?
Right.
And just start there. And we're basically just taking a barometer right now, okay? So if you want to fire off titles of things without telling the story, that would be great.
Okay. The abuse, physical, emotional abuse, control, lack.
Hang on. Time out.
Sure.
So those are very broad titles, which would make sense that you're doing that. What I think might be even more beneficial to our process is giving the titles of incidents and the most egregious ones, like the biggest, gnarliest, nastiest. You know, so if it was verbal abuse, for instance, it would be the meanest thing that was ever said and that hurt you the most, right? And if it was, and for the physical abuse, and you could have 3 or 4 under each heading, okay? And if it's a physical abuse, I want like the most unforgivable act that you could imagine, and I think we both know what that is.
Yes.
That needs to be on that list, in addition to any others, you know, that hit high notes for you, and so on and so forth. And so we could do this for any person in your life that has harmed you and that you're having trouble forgiving. But for this purpose, for today, to stay focused, we're sticking with one person and taking one egregious act or attack, you know, or phrase, whatever it might be, at a time. Because we really want to get benefits. And then when we take that assessment of all that list and see what level you're at of intensity on each topic, we'll take the gnarliest one, right? We'll take the most intense, the most impossible to imagine, you know, getting control about, and then see if we can relieve some of or all of that, and then we'll see if the other stuff benefited too, simultaneously. So we need specifics. That was the point of that little timeout moment there. Okay. So titles of specific events. If there were going to be a mini movie about each scenario, what would the title be?
All right. Well, the biggest one was what we've worked on that still lingers is the physical abuse, being kicked. In particular, the one where I was
the kick, huh?
The kick.
Yeah, like that's the title. Like if I was going to name it, it's the kick. Right? Do you want to be more specific than that? Do you want to reveal more than that? We know what the kick means.
Yeah. The kick was, you know, I was holding my son. My son's father and I were arguing, and I said something that really pissed him off, and he came around full force and kicked me as hard as he could, and I fell with my son in my hands, and that was the end-all be-all of the relationship, that very moment. So that was the kick.
And on a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the most intense.
It's still, I'd say, about an 8, even though we've worked on it.
An 8.
Okay. Yeah.
And that's for inability to forgive. And do you have anger?
I really don't anymore. It's still just that forgiveness piece, you know, that I want somebody to do that to me, and that person did that to me. It's just still very hurtful. It's more hurtful than anger now.
Okay. So the work that we did together transformed the anger to hurt, and like a tolerable, like you're more able to talk about it, handle it, kind of thing. But it's still really intense. I mean, it's potentially the most aggressive act, right?
Yeah.
That you've experienced.
Yeah.
hold your baby. Yeah. Okay. Next title.
Um, the words, like the verbal abuse, you know.
And what's the worst word or collection of
Um, the one that comes the most often is, um, you're such a fucking bitch.
you're such a
Or,
fucking.
right.
And do you remember what was
Um,
happening when he said that?
when things were not going his way, if he wasn't getting his way, it would,
Is that always?
yeah.
That was like his go-to phrase to you? Can
Yeah.
you think of the worst time or the first time that he said that to you? The worst or the first? Like a
Um,
very specific reaction, what you did and him responding that way.
I would say when that whole incident with the kick happened, that was like the worst, most intense time, when words were being just shot out
Okay.
at me.
Yeah. Okay. And do you feel comfortable saying what the circumstances were on his end?
As far as why he did that, oh yeah. Well, I said some really hurtful things to him to provoke
Why
it.
did you say hurtful things to him?
Why?
I'm saying this for the audience, if you feel comfortable
Oh
saying
no,
it.
no, it's fine. I just couldn't hear you. It was breaking up a bit. I said it because I was fed up. I was just fed up, and I wanted to hit him where it hurt the
But what
most.
were you fed up with?
I was fed up with the abuse. I was fed up with, the whole reason why the fight started is that I didn't get home quick enough from work to take care of our son, and who at the time was 3 months old. No, 7 months old. So I wasn't getting home quick enough so he could get some sleep, but he was up all night because he was strung out, and he was coming down and he was getting angry, and it was just
And he
this
was
rage,
coming
and I was so
down from what?
from random, I don't know what kind of drugs he was doing. I know he was doing something that he called morphine pops. So it could have
Right.
been that, it could have been anything, it could have been lack of sleep, it could have been, I don't know what it was, but I was tired of it, so I kind of hit this point where I'm like, I'm done being in this situation. So I said the most hurtful things that I could think of, and it hurt. It did exactly what I wanted it to do, but then, of course, every action has a consequence.
And do you remember the
So
hurtful things that you said to him?
I do.
Do you want to
I
repeat
told
them or?
him that. Oh yeah, that's fine. I told him that I wish he would just die like his mom did, and that was definitely the most hurtful thing I could ever say to him or anybody really who has lost a parent or family member. And I know that, and I regret saying that because I I wouldn't want something like that said to me. So,
and
but in that moment,
did you ever apologize to him?
um, no, I don't think I have.
And do you think you ever would or could you now apologize to him for saying that?
I think I could now. Yeah, I think I could.
Okay. On a scale of 0 to 10, 10 being the most sure that you could apologize to him now for that. What number, and 0 being you couldn't, absolutely not. What number would you put?
I'd say like a 5. Still a little apprehensive about it.
Okay.
But
okay, are you ready to tap?
yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to say some things. You're going to repeat after me. If anything I say doesn't ring true, just correct me, as usual. And just follow along with me.
All right.
And take a nice deep breath. Even though Mike kicked me, when Mikey was in my arms, he was only 7 months old.
He was only 7 months old.
And that scared the shit out of me.
And that scared the shit out of me.
And changed everything.
And changed everything.
Despite all this, I choose to find a way.
I choose to find a way.
To deeply and completely.
To deeply and completely.
Love and accept myself.
Love
and I forgive myself.
And I forgive myself.
For anything I may have done.
For anything I may have done.
To contribute to the situation.
To contribute to the situation.
Even though Mike kicked me. Hard.
Hard.
As hard as he could.
As hard as he could.
Out of anger.
Out of anger.
While I had Mikey in my arms.
While I had Mikey in my arms.
And that scared the shit out of me.
And that scared the shit out of me.
I choose to find a way.
I choose to find a way.
To deeply and completely.
To deeply and completely.
Love and accept myself.
Love and accept myself.
And I forgive myself.
And I forgive myself.
For anything I may have done.
For anything I may have done.
To contribute to the situation.
To contribute to the situation.
Because I know I contributed.
Because I know I contributed.
And I take responsibility for that.
And I take responsibility for that.
But I release the guilt.
But I release the guilt.
And forgive myself.
And forgive myself.
Wholly and completely.
Wholly and completely.
Even though Mike kicked me.
Even though Mike kicked me.
As hard as he could.
As hard as he could.
And I had Mikey in my arms.
And I had Mikey in my arms.
He could have really seriously hurt both of us.
He could have really seriously hurt both of us.
He was out of control.
He was out of control.
And I was fed up.
And I was fed up.
Despite all this.
Despite all this.
I choose to find a way.
I choose to find a way.
To deeply and completely.
To deeply and completely.
Love and accept myself.
Love and accept myself.
And I forgive myself.
And I forgive myself.
for anything I may have done
for anything I may have done
to contribute to the situation.
to contribute to this situation.
I really do.
I really do.
Alicia, tell me, did you fall when he kicked you?
I fell down onto the couch.
You fell onto the couch.
Yeah.
And did Mikey cry?
No.
And he was okay? Mikey was okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Mike kicked me
Mike kicked me
really hard.
really hard.
It scared the shit out of me.
It scared the shit out of me.
And I just don't think
And I just don't think
I can forgive him for that.
I can forgive him for that.
That was the worst thing he ever did.
That was the worst thing he ever did.
And the things he said
And the things he said
during that fight
during that fight
are unforgivable too.
are unforgivable too.
He said I was such a fucking bitch.
He said I was such a fucking bitch.
And that really bothers me.
That really bothers me.
He was really scaring me.
He was really scaring me.
And I never looked back from that moment.
And I never looked back from that moment.
He had hurt me enough.
He had hurt me enough.
And I was fed up.
And I was fed up.
And it was time for me to walk.
And it was time for me to walk.
And ever since that day,
And ever since that day,
our relationship has been a nightmare.
our relationship has been a nightmare.
Trying to co-parent
Trying to co-parent
with someone who would do something like that
someone who would do something like that
is nearly impossible.
is nearly impossible.
It's just been one struggle after another.
It's just been one struggle after another.
He physically abused me.
He physically abused me.
He emotionally abused me.
He emotionally abused me.
He verbally abused me.
He brutally abused me.
It was unbearable
It was unbearable
and unacceptable.
and unacceptable.
Thank God I left when I did.
Thank God I left when I did.
He will never kick me again
He will never kick me again
or risk Mikey's life again.
or risk Mikey's life again.
And I'll never put Mikey
And I'll never put Mikey
in that kind of situation again.
in that kind of situation again.
Because in a sense,
Because in a sense,
that was my responsibility too.
that was my responsibility too.
I chose Mike as a partner.
I chose Mike as a partner
And got pregnant.
and got pregnant
With Mike.
with Mike.
I was broken.
I was broken,
And so was he.
and so is he.
I was in pain.
I was in pain.
That's evidenced by having been with him.
That's evidenced by having been with him.
Because he was abusing me.
Because he was abusing me.
Emotionally.
Emotionally.
And otherwise.
And otherwise.
And if I had felt more whole, perfect, and complete.
And if I had felt more whole, perfect, and complete.
I probably wouldn't have been with him.
I probably wouldn't have been with him.
But I was.
But I was.
And I was at the breaking point.
And I was at a breaking point.
And I said the meanest thing I could think of.
And I said the meanest thing I could think of.
Which may have been the meanest thing I've ever said in my whole life.
Ever said in my whole life.
I said I wish he would die like his mom did.
I said I wish he would die like his mom did.
I said, I wish you would die like your mom did.
I said I wish you would die like your mom did.
And that was a mean thing to say.
And that was a mean thing to say.
I wouldn't say that to anyone.
I wouldn't say that to anyone.
Ever.
Ever.
But I said it that day. And he was already on edge.
And he was already on edge.
From I don't even know what.
From I don't even know what.
Maybe lack of sleep.
Maybe lack of sleep.
Maybe crying baby.
Maybe the crying baby.
Maybe morphine pops.
Maybe morphine pops.
Maybe a combination of a whole slew of things.
Maybe a combination of a whole slew of things.
And a lifetime of having been in pain himself.
Having been in pain from stuff.
Because he must have been in pain.
Must have been in pain.
Because he seemed like he was in pain.
Pain.
So he must have experienced a lot of pain.
So he must have experienced a lot of pain.
Most of us humans.
Most of us humans.
Do the best we can.
Do the best we can.
Based on our experiences.
Based on our experiences.
And how we feel.
And how we feel.
About the world.
About the world.
And especially about ourselves.
And especially about ourselves.
That's true for me.
It's true for me.
And it's probably true for Mike.
And it's probably true for Mike.
And so I'm sorry.
And so I'm sorry.
For saying that.
For saying it.
To Mike. To Mike.
To Mike.
Because I clearly hurt him.
Because I clearly hurt him.
Very deeply.
Very deeply.
Because it's hard to lose a parent.
Because it's hard to lose a parent.
And it may have been even especially hard for him.
And it may have been especially hard for him.
He has not had an easy life.
He has not had an easy life.
Nor have I.
Nor have I.
So I can understand what that feels like.
So I can understand what that feels like.
And everybody handles their pain
And everybody handles their pain
in different ways,
in different ways,
doing the best they can,
doing the best they can,
doing the best we can.
doing the best we can.
And yeah, he had some pretty fucked up ways
And he had some pretty fucked up ways
of dealing with that pain.
in dealing with that pain.
He was self-destructive
He was self-destructive
and then took it out on me too.
and then took it out on me too.
But maybe I can find a way.
But maybe I can find a way
To forgive him.
to forgive
For doing the best he could.
for doing the best he could,
Which was really shitty.
which was really shitty.
But it was the best he had to offer.
But it was the best he had to offer.
And so I choose
And so I choose
to send him love.
to send him love.
Because I have an infinite source
Because I have an infinite source
of love.
of love.
So I don't have to withhold.
So I don't have to live both.
I don't have to withhold
I don't have to withhold
my love
my love
from anyone,
from anyone,
especially not my son's father,
especially not my son's father,
who needs love.
who needs love.
We all do.
We all do.
And maybe I can find a way
And maybe I can find a way
to forgive him
to forgive him
unconditionally.
unconditionally.
Because hanging on
Because hang on,
to this hurt isn't doing anyone any good.
isn't doing anyone any good.
It's certainly not doing me any good.
It's certainly not doing me any good.
It's letting toxicity live in my body and mind.
It's letting toxicity live in my body and mind.
And it's not doing Mikey any good.
And it's not doing Mikey any good.
Because we're his mom and dad.
Because we're his mom and dad.
And he needs us
And he needs us
to feel whole,
to feel
perfect,
perfect
and complete,
and complete,
just as we are.
just as we are.
Filled with self-love,
Filled with self-love,
so that we can give love
so that we can give love
to him,
to him,
our beautiful son,
our beautiful son,
freely and easily.
freely and easily.
And so I choose
And so I choose
to forgive Mike.
to forgive Mike.
No strings attached.
No strings attached.
Unconditionally.
Unconditionally.
One human to another.
One human to another.
I give him love.
I give him love.
That doesn't mean
It doesn't mean
I have to forget
I have to forget
anything that's ever happened,
anything that's ever happened,
between us.
Between us.
I can remember
I can remember
and act accordingly
and act accordingly
with love.
with love.
I can maintain my boundaries
I can maintain my boundaries
with love.
with love.
I don't need anger
I don't need anger
or hurt
or hurt
to keep my boundaries up.
to keep my boundaries up.
They're probably actually stronger
They're probably actually stronger
and healthier
and healthier
and more effective
and more effective
and doing more good
in doing more good
for me,
for me,
for Mikey,
for Mikey,
for Mike,
for Mike,
and for the world.
and for the world.
If I maintain strong, confident boundaries
If I maintain strong, confident boundaries
with love,
with love,
the most powerful force in the universe.
the most powerful force in the universe.
It's all within me.
It's all within me,
And I give it freely.
and I give it freely.
I am filled with love.
I am filled with love.
It gives me strength.
It gives me strength.
It gives me confidence.
It gives me confidence.
And I feel whole,
And I feel whole,
perfect, and complete,
perfect, and complete,
just as I am.
just as I am.
And love is my most powerful force.
And love is my most powerful force.
I can use it with confidence.
I can use it with confidence.
I can trust myself
I can trust myself
and enjoy my life
and enjoy my life
and have fun
and have fun
with love.
with love.
I don't need this hurt anymore.
I don't need this hurt anymore.
I don't need to replay that story over and over in my head.
I don't need to replay that story over and over in my head
And relive it over and over again.
and relive it over and over again.
That is serving no purpose for me.
That is serving no purpose for me.
I will remember
I remember
and have confidence
and have confidence
and trust in myself
and trust in myself
and my boundaries
and my boundaries
with love.
with love.
And so it is.
And so it is.
Take a nice deep breath in and hold it. And let it out nice, big, and smooth. And when you feel ready, go ahead and open your eyes. And tell me what you're thinking.
Much better. You know, I always feel very relaxed and I'll sleep well
For sure.
every night. No, it's just like this calm. Feels good.
Cool.
I'll let it
Tell
go.
me, tell me about the forgiveness and how you're feeling about Mike having kicked you, and your level of intensity about that and ability to forgive.
I think I'm definitely, like, I had a 9 give, and and the intensity is, it's not there. Just like when we were, I remember, but I'm not going to forget, but it doesn't feel.
Would you say 0?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So for the kick, you went from an 8 to a 0?
Mhm.
Awesome, Alicia. You're such a rock star.
Yeah, it feels good.
And the feeling of being able to apologize to him for the things that you did to contribute to that. You were at a 5 before, and you're at a 9 now?
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
Yeah, I think I can have a conversation with him tomorrow afternoon and talk to him about it, because I know that still hurts in him. It's
Yeah.
like, how could it
How
not?
cool. You're like calling him to apologize. That's amazing.
Right. Something I never would have thought about doing.
I know.
Calling him.
Alicia.
Yeah. So, I have to lead by example. So, and to not only to other people, but to myself.
Alicia. That's amazing. And tell me, do you feel amazing that that's even what you're saying right now?
Yeah, because, like an hour ago, I would have been like, you're out of your mind. No. Like, not even a thought in my mind.
I think you thought I was kind of crazy for even asking the question.
Yeah.
Like, what are you talking about? That's not what we're doing right now. Right?
Right.
And tell me, while we were tapping, you were crying at some point. What was going on for you there?
I had this realization and hurts just as much as I do. And my favorite phrase of all time is, resentment is like drinking poison and waiting for the other person to die. And by not forgiving, it's very similar. And there are people that I know in my life that don't forgive me for things, and it hurts. It hurts deep down inside. And it made me realize that this person is probably feeling just as shitty as I am about those things that people won't forgive me for. So, I don't have to be his best friend. I don't have to be in relation with him, but I need to have that love and compassion between two humans because of our child. He deserves that. So it's
And the next time he does something that challenges you, that irritates you,
Yeah.
This isn't just for the stuff that has happened. This is for like the challenges. It doesn't mean you won't need to tap,
Right.
But it gives you an opportunity to be like, oh, if I can forgive that, then maybe I'll benefit, he'll benefit, Mikey will benefit, the world will benefit by challenging myself again to forgive again. Not forget again. I'm not talking about forgetting.
Right.
I'm not talking about putting down, like taking down boundaries that are helpful and useful and necessary. And that's why I brought in the unconditional. Actually, I remember you really cried when I said unconditional.
Mm-hmm.
That was huge. That was like a big moment.
Yeah.
When I suggested to do it unconditionally.
Because everybody wants to be unconditionally loved. I don't think I've ever met a person that doesn't, you know? So, yeah, it's a big one. It's big. And it's hard to unconditionally love somebody that has been very hurtful.
And may continue to be.
Right. Right.
You know, like it's not in your control. But imagine how much easier and loving he'll be able to be to you and Mikey and the world if you're giving him love and forgiveness.
Right. Exactly.
You know, it'll be easier for him to give love too.
Yep. Because it's not something, just from my experience, that he's received a lot of in his life. So, you know, if he were sitting here doing this, he probably would have cried at unconditional love too. You know, it's like it goes both ways, and I see in me that I have forgotten the compassion piece in relation with him. So, you know, that hit home, that hit real hard. So.
Yeah, and I think sometimes when you're fighting for yourself, sometimes you think you need the fight, the anger, to keep the boundary. Like you think that's where the boundary comes from, but that's not where the boundary comes. That's, you know, like the boundary can come from love, the boundary can come from jealousy, the boundary can come from anxiety, the boundary can come from wherever. Why not have it be the most powerful force that you've got?
Right.
And also that is unlimited. Not only the most powerful, but it is unlimited. There is no, like, you know, if I give you this much love, then I'm taking it from that person. No. Love begets love. You know, like, and it also feels good when you're putting up boundaries filled with anxiety, fear, frustration, anger, you know, like those kinds of things hurt. When the boundaries, that sucks your energy. It literally like occupies portions of your brain, creates all sorts of havoc on your body, you know, and it depletes you. Whereas when you are loving, what's that?
And it has completely depleted me. It's created illness in me. It's created, you know, just major issues. It attracts shit, basically. You know, it's just like it attracts everything that you just possibly don't want in your life. And by working together and different avenues, you know, that I've been working on in my life with different resources and things, it's really transformed what I attract in my life because there's more love and more compassion. And now with this piece, I think by working on this aspect, it's just, and I'm really excited about that because I could use a break. So, thank you.
Oh, Alicia, thank you so much for another awesome session. I am in awe of you.
Thanks. It's just it's amazing the after effects, how you don't realize how much anxiety you have until you do this, and then you're just like, it's like meditating times like a million. It's awesome.
I totally agree. Okay. Well, when we hang up, let's look at our schedules. Maybe we'll text back and forth to see when you want to do another session. And I just want to thank you so much. Do you have more you want to say before we go?
I'm gonna get ready bed and go to bed.
Yeah.
Sleep like a
Something
baby.
that you didn't mention earlier, but I thought was cool, and maybe the audience might appreciate it, is hearing about what happened with us when we worked on abundance, because that's sort of a cool
Oh,
story. Perspective.
yeah. So working on abundance, I'm just kind of give a backstory. I am really working on my own personal business. Being a massage therapist, I am very compassionate and dedicated to the work that I do to help, others, just like how you're so compassionate about it. And so I wanted to work for myself for many reasons, making my own schedules, being able to spend more time with my son and making more money and being independently wealthy, basically. That's what I want to be out of my life. I don't particularly like working for other people. Anyway, so we worked on the abundance piece, and before I even left the parking lot, um, I had called a client, a prospective client, and got her on the books within like 5 minutes of walking into your office, and then two other people called me and booked appointments, and it's been ever since then. I've been working on it, and I'm up to quite a few. I think like 15 private clients, which I was able to cut
Wasn't that
down to only working 3 days.
Alicia? Wasn't that your goal?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's awesome.
And more people are calling. More people are calling, and it's really amazing. So I was able to cut down to 3 days at my day job, and then the rest of the time I just make my own schedule, and it's amazing because I have 4 days off in a row. If I want to take a day off, I can. Like today, I went on a lunch date because I could. Like I have freedom in my life, but I'm still making money. So
And this is a very
it's amazing.
short turnaround, right?
Yeah. Like within 4 months, 3-4 months.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing. Well, we've been working together for 3 months, and I think it was our second or third session, I
Yeah.
can't remember, where we talked about abundance, where I was just like, you said, well, maybe Ellen, I just said, just sit down. I know what I want to work on with you. And we did that because I had been hearing, do you mind me saying this?
No,
You
that's
had been
fine.
talking about that being a problem since I had known you,
Right.
right? Like that was
Yep.
like a recurring theme
Yeah.
of like burden. And now
Yeah.
it's like, it's a whole new ballgame.
It is.
And it
It's
happened,
amazing.
and it started, like the energy shifted. You're so amazing like that because all we need to do is shift your energy and like you skyrocket every time.
Yeah.
Not one single session have we had where I'm like, like I don't know how much we accomplished here today. Right?
And then the next day I'm like, bam.
Yeah, it's amazing.
What happened?
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
really, really is mind-blowingly awesome to be a part of your healing journey. And I really am honored. I know I say this every time, but I truly am honored to be a part of it. And it's just a total like rockin' hoot to witness your
Yeah.
amazing transformation. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate it. And I hope that that this will help others to understand that like you can change your life. It doesn't it doesn't matter how old you are or how young you are. You can change your life at any given moment, and I feel like I'm living proof of that because I come from a line in my family where it's the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over and over again, and I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm breaking the cycle, and so it's kind of been both my conscious effort and my sister's conscious effort to put a complete stop to the cycle in our family, and just learned behaviors. So it's pretty amazing when you can see like literally overnight transformation. So I do want to let everybody know that it is legitimate and pretty amazing, and it's something that you can carry with you. Like I said before, you can carry it with you. You can learn the techniques and just kind of go with your own intuition, because that's what I've been doing. On my own in between sessions is just going with my own intuition and what is going on with me. Like, this fucking sucks that I'm sitting here in this traffic, and I want to, just go with it and release it. And then you're just like, wow, I don't need to take Quaaludes for this. I can do it naturally. Like, it's great. So, yeah, it's pretty amazing. So.
It is. Thank you, Alicia.
Thank you.
You're amazing.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.